Down from this to this.
There must have been a lot of pressure on Kate to lose all of her baby weight because she had the wedding straight after and she'd already got this, dress that she had designed and pre-planned, and there's only so much a dress can stretch.
After giving birth, Katie Holmes apparently signed up with a company called Buff Brides, which made me laugh so much. The fact that someone has actually come up with a company called Buff Brides.
A week after giving birth to Suri, she was on a red carpet, and the back of her eyes, you could see her screaming, "Will somebody get me out of here?" She didn't want to be there. Of course she didn't want to be there. She just had a baby. She was tired. She was probably sick. She probably, no energy, hadn't slept for 7 days. And that's the pressure, they shouldn't have to do that, these women.
But word is that Katie's diet may have been extreme. A report in the Hollywood Star claimed that at one point in 2007, Mrs. Cruz might have been existing on a tiny 1,000 calories a day to lose the final baby pounds.
You need 600 calories just to lie in a hospital bed in a coma. Surely, if you're doing 200 sit-ups a day and you're running around like she is, surely you need more than 1,000 calories a day.
If you've got a mother who's only consuming 1,000 calories a day, the baby will suffer. There is absolutely no way that your baby can be healthy if you're not giving that baby proper sustenance.
So what damage could a low-calorie diet do long-term?
You need calories for breastfeeding, and you couldn't make enough milk of sufficient quantities and quality if you're restricting your calories to that extent.
There's a big rumor around Hollywood that a lot of actresses are actually hiring wet nurses to breastfeed their children because they don't want to have the kind of disfigurement that might occur if they breastfeed themselves and have to breast stretch out and have to get them lifted, and they don't want to bother. So there is an agency that actually hires out wet nurses in this day and age to very wealthy, very famous women. That's all very secretive, so that they can avoid the tedious nature of breastfeeding themselves.
There may be pressure on celebrities to be perfect, but many new mums have the added burden of feeling the baby blues.
Postnatal depression is very insidious. It comes on slowly, at no fixed time after having a baby. It's often difficult to spot in the early stages, but we know women who have a history of depression are more likely to get depressed after they've had a baby.
Postnatal depression often occurs when a mother attempts to lose weight too quickly postnatally.
Women who have a history of premenstrual tension associated with depression are more vulnerable to postnatal depression. And of course, women who've had postnatal depression in a previous pregnancy are particularly at risk.
It's a side effect of motherhood that many women suffer from, but few are keen to admit to. One woman who does is mum and glamour model Jordan.
I think it's really nice when a woman as high profile as Jordan gets up and says, you know what, actually I've had a really bad bout of postnatal depression. When someone has the courage, and it does take a lot of courage to say that, I mean, my hat goes off to them.
She said right through her wedding she was feeling so depressed it was as if the whole wedding was taking place behind a glass because she could hardly even react to it. She was feeling so peculiar.
There's this whole conspiracy of how motherhood is lovely and it's all fluffy and gorgeous, but if you ask most mothers, they'll actually say, yeah, it's fantastic, but I tell you what, it's really, really hard work. And she found it really difficult, and I think she made mothers realise, actually, you know what, you're not alone.
So with mental and physical health at stake, what other sacrifices could celebrity mums be making in the name of extreme skinniness?
In the final count, it's a great shame because everything becomes entirely unnatural. The mother doesn't have sufficient time for the baby, the husband comes out of the loop, other people are introduced, people who don't have an investment in the upbringing of their child.
The first couple of months are probably most important in forming a bond between mother and child, and if they miss out on that, then it might shape the whole relationship for the rest of the kid's life.
If you've had a baby, stay at home, maybe scoff that packet of ginger nuts if you want to. Just relax, enjoy being a new mum, because you're never going to get that back.
And who knows what kind of price the children are going to pay in the long run.
But some celebrity mums don't have the luxury of anonymity. The moment they set foot out of the front door, they're at the mercy of the paparazzi. These photographers are desperate for the first shot of Suri Cruz or Shiloh Pitt, and they're equally hungry for a shot of celebrity mums not looking their best.
Magazines now, the paparazzi and the public taking photographs of people and getting, a little bit of cellulite this big and then it being blown up on the front cover of one of these magazines makes a huge pressure on celebrities.
No celebrity ever really seems to get it right, and if they do, then the next day they'll get it wrong, or they'll be in the wrong dress, the wrong colour, the wrong shoes.
I felt the pressure when I've read things like Marlene's on another diet protest, Marlene, the Gary Barlow of the band. It's not something you think, right, I'm going to cut that out and frame it.
The celebrities' lives are completely invaded, not just from the paparazzi, but the general public, they're turning into the new paparazzi, and they love it because magazines, who are responsible, because they'll pay for these pictures.
And for the paps, there's nothing more perfect than a celebrity who hasn't lost her baby weight.
A perfect example of that is Liv Tyler, who was determined to enjoy her baby, and she didn't care about the fact she was a bit overweight, and she just went around the streets looking as she always looks, like a perfectly normal woman. And of course, she was papped. And people were saying, is she pregnant again? And for her, that was the worst thing, and she immediately went on a diet because she had a reality check, here was Hollywood calling, if I don't get this off, I'm not going to work again.
And the pressure doesn't start when the baby's born. A picture of a pregnant pop star can be worth a fortune.
Charlotte Church is seen as someone who is a great role model. She doesn't care about her weight, doesn't give a damn, eat what she wants. Every week, almost on a daily basis in fact, you see pictures of Charlotte looking a bit bigger, people pointing at her fat. What must she have to do in her head to retain that mindset of, I don't care?
But despite the ever-present paps, there are some mums who refuse to bow to the pressure. She used to be the queen of skinny, but when Gwyneth Paltrow had baby Apple, she revelled in it.
I just had a baby, and if you've been living in a cave, and my brain cells are all coming out of my breast milk, so I can't.
Gwyneth Paltrow, she'll have her baby, and then she'll say, right, I'm not going to film for, a year, I'm going to enjoy being a mum.
And she has a trick to hide her baby bulges. If you can't beat 'em, Gwyneth, cheat 'em.
She even wore 2 Spanx girdles at the same time for months in order to keep that bulging belly hidden.
But inevitably the call came, and Gwyneth had to get back into shape and get back to work.
She really buckled down and got her body into gear. But I think if Gwyneth wasn't working as an actress, she probably would have given herself even more time to get this weight off.
The Spanx pants may do for Gwyneth, but one way of ensuring you don't ruin your figure is adoption.
Celebrities are drawing attention to the plight of undernourished, undercared for children in developing economies. That's a fantastic thing to do, but inevitably it brings with it some negative publicity in some quarters in some parts of the media.
Not to put down anyone's motives or good intentions, but it's a lot simpler as an actress to adopt a baby than it is to carry one. To take the 9 months out of work, to then take whatever amount of time it takes to get your body back. And now you've been away from the game for a year and there's all these other up-and-comers who are jumping to step in your place. I think it happens. I think sometimes that is part of the motivation.
It won't ruin your waistline, but adopting a baby may not stop a celebrity mummy from hitting the treadmill. Madonna was spotted leaving her gym just a few days after baby David Banda arrived in London from Malawi.
And I wanted to go up to her and say, now listen, lady, you should be counting his toes with him, you should be reading him stories of Peter Rabbit, you should be singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Quite frankly, you should simply be holding him on your hip and calmly and quietly going about your daily life to get him used to you and to get yourself used to him. Your waistline should not be anywhere near your thoughts. You're the mother of a new baby.
Coming up, which starlet sweated away the baby pounds using this extreme suction device? Which celebrity mum's arms are giving her family cause for concern?
You do look too thin, you don't look great anymore, you look kind of scary.
And who's the fastest loser of them all?